Hi, I'm Catherine with the Old Country Porch, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make these cute fabric pumpkins. Out of all of the crafts that I have made, these are my most requested. I've had so many questions about how I make them, if I sell the patterns, where I find the fabric. So I'm going to do a tutorial today to show you exactly how I make them, and I will leave the links below to everything that I use to make them, including where to find these fabrics. So the piece of fabric that I have today is 9 inches by 22 inches, and it's going to make this little pumpkin. And your measurements are going to depend on how tall or skinny or fat or big or small you want your pumpkin to be. I'm going to fold this in half and sew right along this seam. You could stitch this by hand if you don't have a sewing machine, but it's definitely a lot faster if you have access to a sewing machine to run it through the machine real quick. The next thing I'm going to do is take some of this thread. I think it's a bead thread. I'll leave the link below. It's really thick and strong. I'm going to put some of that on a big needle. And I'm going to tie both ends at the bottom because I want this to be a double thread. And I'm going to start on the bottom. I'm just going to weave it back and forth. And once I've pulled this through, I'm going to wrap the bottom and tie it in a knot just to make sure that it's completely secure. Now we can flip our pumpkin inside out. And we can start to stuff it. And I am using polyfill. It's a polyester stuffing. And you just want to pull it apart before you put it in there, and it helps to keep the lumps out. So after you have it stuffed, then you can take your thread, again, the same thick thread. And now I'm going to weave in and out all the way around. So how tight you're going to tighten this area right here is going to depend on what you're going to use as a stem. For this one, I am using this thicker branch, and so I just want to leave enough room that it will snugly fit in the top of this. There's so many different things you can use as stems. I've seen cinnamon sticks and wine corks. You can take felt and roll it up and put it in and use it for your stem. I've seen so many different things. This is where you can really get creative and personalize your pumpkins. So for mine, I'm going to leave about a 1-inch hole in the top. I'm tying it to the tail of this first stitch that I made. So you can also, this is where you can shape your pumpkin if you have any sides that need to be reshaped or plumped. This would be the time to do that before you get the sides on. So next up is taking a big long piece of this thread. And we're going to double this again. And having a nice long needle is very helpful for this next part. So we want the first stitch to go through the top and come out the bottom so that we don't have the tail of our thread hanging out of the pumpkin. So I'm just going to go straight down. Through the bottom. And then I'm going to come back around and just keep doing that all the way around the pumpkin. So every time that you do this, you want to pull the thread nice and tight. So that you have some definition where you've pulled it. So now it's starting to look like a pumpkin. The next part is to take hot glue and fill this hole and stick your stick in there or whatever you're using and get it nice and secure in there. Now for mine, I decorate it with a few things on top. I do a little fabric flower on the top, and then I do a wire vine and add some raffia. So I'll show you how I do all of those. And these are all optional. You can decorate these however you want to, or you could just leave it like this. So for my fabric flowers, I'm taking 8 pieces of 3x3 fabric. I'm going to fold these in half and sew from the corner all the way to the middle and then back to the other corner. And that is going to create your petal. So I'm going to do this with all 8 pieces. And I'm going to fit it to the top and put 1 stitch through here so that I know how tight I need to make this. So I'm going to bunch the first and the last petal together and put a couple stitches through the bottom of that one. And when you put it on your pumpkin, you're going to have all these little seams sticking up, so I like to shove it all the way down and then pull up to get those all hidden. And next I'm going to take my glue gun and glue around the inside of the petals to keep them down. The next thing we're going to do is make this wire that looks like a vine. And I'm using zebra wire, and I will put the link to this below. I'm going to cut about 10 or 12 inches of this. Now you can use a chopstick or a skinny pencil, anything that's skinny and has a completely rounded edge. And I'm going to take the end and hold it wrap the wire around a few times. And I'll do that to the other side. These flat pieces on the top, I'm just going to cut off. And then I'm just going to wrap this around like that. Take a little bit of hot glue. And hold it in place until it sets up. And then the last thing I do is I take some raffia. And I just take a few pieces. Tie it to the pumpkin stem and put just a little drop of glue to hold it into place. And cut the extra off, and then I'm going to wrap another bundle around the other side. And here's what the finished pumpkins look like. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.